What is up, guys? This is Dan and I am back with a brand new video. Today I am going to be looking at some of the troops in the update and just messing about with some of the combinations that we have been seeing and will be seeing afterwards. You can see down the right hand side of the screen the three armies that I'm going to use in this video. I'm going to start off with the deck of cards that are getting nerfed. I'm going to start off by talking about the Royal Giant. It is the most hated card in the game. Everybody has been complaining about it. For people who actually look at the forums, it's been a bit of a pain because you can't get to anything useful. It's just Royal Giant needs a nerf this, Royal Giant needs a nerf. Everybody hates it. So Supercell have acted and they have done something about it. Personally, decreasing the attack speed to 1.5 seconds from 1.7, I'm not convinced it's going to be that useful. Personally, I would have preferred it if they had gone and said, right, everyone has been using the Royal Giant for the last 2 months. We are sick of it. We don't want to see it for the next month, and probably done a bit of overkill on it instead. We'll take it too low and then bring it back up in the next one. I would have happily not seen Royal Giant for a long time. It would have given us the chance. Try out some new combos, try something else. As it happens, I don't think it's going to be as overpowered, but I still think it's going to be very usable and a troop that does a lot of damage, especially when you're one tower down and it can spawn right in the middle of your side and go straight into doing damage. Secondly, Zap. Zap is used by everyone. I don't think anyone was calling for it to be changed particularly. I don't see why they've done it. I don't think it's particularly overpowered. I know 87% or something of decks use Zap and that is crazily high, but it's just a really useful utility card. I can see why they are changing it. If a card's used that much, it must be good, but I would have just left it alone. Next we come on to the Princess area damage. 25% reduction. I have a feeling this is going to have a big impact, because if she's firing at groups like she is on screen now, and she is missing half of them, say it's against a minion horde, and she's only hitting 3 out of the 6, that's going to make a massive difference. I'm not convinced she's going to be staying in my deck after this update, because if she's leaving troops still alive, there are cards that you can get more use from. The Fire Spirits take out groups a lot better than she might. The Zap will still take them out. There's not been any change to its damage. Moving on, we have the Miner next. I think it did need a slight nerf. Whether they've done enough, I'm not sure. I don't really understand what they mean by deploy time, whether that means it's going to appear on screen and then it takes 0.3 seconds longer to start doing damage. If it is, that's going to have a minimal effect. The hit points decreased, I'm led to believe though, will cause it to be killed with one shot from a mini P.E.K.K.A at appropriate levels as you progress through the game, which would be much more important. If it spawns and then it's dead like that, I can see that being a lot more useful, because before people would put a miner in, a mini P.E.K.K.A would go in, a Zap, and the miner would get off a few hundred damage without any support, so that could be important. Okay, looking back on screen, this next army with the Valkyrie, the Hog, the Fire Spirits, that one in the middle, this is the one of troops that I think should be nerfed. I think there's some very overpowered troops in that. Fire Spirits, the value you can get for them, I love them. I'd hate it if they were nerfed, but as it stands, they can easily take out a minion horde every time. They cost 2, minion horde costs 5. Barbarians, they almost kill. Again, a card that costs 5. And I just think you get ridiculous value for it. The 1 elixir skeletons, I'll be honest, I don't particularly think they're overpowered. I just needed something to balance the army and I chose that. The Hog, I think it can be used very similar to the Miner for doing attritional damage. It just chips away and chips away, and a lot of tournament play features the Hog. And I've been messing about with it and I'm pretty useless with it, so maybe it is balanced and it's just skillful play. I just fancied doing a video with it. Stabby Goblins, as I like to call them, they're a great card. I have them in every deck, but I think they probably do a little bit too much damage, especially when you think about the Goblin Barrel. 3 elixir can land right on top of a base. You can combine that with other cards, and yeah, it's going to cause a lot of damage, especially at lower levels. On my lower level accounts, I've noticed a lot of people are using Goblin Barrels. We've also got the Poison, which is one of the most used cards in the game. It does so much damage. If you look at the screen, you're going to see a flaw with this army I've put together, as the Lava Hound works on my left-hand tower, and I'm going through my troops, and I can literally find nothing that will defend against air, except Poison, which I don't want to do until the pups are out, and the Fire Spirit, so I am a sitting duck right now. Mini P.E.K.K.A, I think the damage is probably a bit too high, and it moves a bit too quick. It really charges at your base when, well, usually it's used on defense, and then just has a straight run after it's defended, but I just think one hit from that is an absolute game changer. And for a full elixir troop, I'm I'm not quite sure that's right, although if you compare it to the barbarians, which I would say are balanced, if you get four barbarians to a tower, they're going to do a lot of damage. So again, this deck was just for a bit of fun of troops that seemed pretty decent, although it's not really a deck that I've put together particularly well. There's nothing ranged there to attack a tower, so that's why I'm struggling in this attack. Just going back down to the list on the left, something I didn't mention with the Ice Wizard. And hit points decreased by 5%, you look at it and you think, what is that going to do? That is pointless, it still does the same damage, it still slows them down by the same. If it's tanked by something, it's going to make no difference. My understanding is it will now get killed by a fireball, again at comparative levels as you progress through the game, which would be huge because a lot of people used to spawn the princess, the Ice Wizard near the back. Fireball, kill both of them. That's going to be a game changer. I personally will probably keep the Ice Wizard in my deck. It's been my favourite card for a long time now. And hopefully I can keep it protected. I use 3 Musketeers, so if they use the Fireball on the Ice Wizard, that works well for me. So it could become like when everyone was using the Princess and the Minion Horde as you kill one with arrows and then you're stuck from the other one. It might become one of those situations. People will just have to be clever about it, so I don't think it's an issue. Then got some of the buffs, which this army is full of troops that are going to be buffed. If you watch this battle, it is my favourite. I really enjoyed this one. Okay, so the baby dragon, yeah, it needed an increase for an epic. It wasn't that epic. 0.2 second shot change, is that going to make much of a difference? I assume so. Supercell have an extensive testing program. The Dark Prince, yet again, got a buff. This must be a few updates in a row. Someone must really be a fan of it and want it to be used. I'm going to give it a go. 7.5% is huge compared to what you look at for some of the others. Could be great fun. Then you look at the bowler, I have no idea how that's going to affect it. It's dropped, but it's also got weaker, so yeah, it could go either way. No idea whether that's even classed as a buff or a nerf. Yeah. Lumberjack, yeah, I think it's positive changes. The way they want it to be different from a mini P.E.K.K.A. because before it was a high damage unit, cost the same, and people were almost using it without the rage in mind. Apart from, I'd started to see a few Lumberjack Hog, Lumberjack Balloon raids come in, which were actually being quite successful, so I guess we'll see a lot more of that. Interesting Supercell's plan of going from other legendaries, waits for people to buy them, and then nerfs them when people have got them and makes a different legendary quite strong. It's a business plan, if I'm honest. They want people to now go to the shop and buy the Lumberjack. Log, again, one of the new legendaries, make it a lot stronger. Are these 2 cards now going to be like the trifecta legendary deck, which everyone started using and we're going to see loads of them? I don't know, only time will tell. Golem, damage increased by 5%, it still doesn't do very much. Sorry, that's how much damage it can take. It could already do loads, I don't think that was the issue. I'd say more its speed, it takes ages to get across. And since they've got rid of the 11th elixir, I find it a lot harder to use the higher amount cards because you just leave yourself so open, especially with the slower ones like the Golem and the Lava Hound. You can get hit by a counter and be a sitting duck. Hit points increased by 1%. Yeah, game changer there. That's gonna revolutionise the way we play. Golemites, they've got a bit more of a buff. P.E.K.K.A. damage increased by 5%. It already did so much. If you got a hit off, you pretty much took the tower out. Tombstone, which you can see has just died. I think that's going to be quite important because people have started using it as a defense against the Sparky. So just that extra turnover, that should be quite good. Spawn an extra few because it was quite underused, and I think it is quite a good card. Archer damage increased by 2%. Now I don't think they've particularly done that because they're not happy with the Archer. It's because of the difference it was at certain levels, and they've just done that to neaten it up because at different levels it was affecting play differently. And then finally, the Prince, damage increased by 2%. Again, I think that was just to balance certain levels. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to watch the end of this raid, see which way it goes. Once the update comes out, I'm then going to move on and do a video, probably using similar armies to this video, just to see how it has affected them, whether the Royal Giant is suddenly unusable, whether the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince is even stronger, because I really enjoyed using it in this video, but we will have to see. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in next time.